There's really nothing special that will make somebody who wasn't already a Christian to want to become a Christian. Am I talking to somebody today? Let's face the fact, because if we face the fact, it will help us to pray well. We lost it. We failed God. There's nothing unique. Both we Muslims and all were the same. We faced the same problem. Now we need to explain the gospel over and over to persuade somebody to be saved. Am I talking to somebody today? Okay. How many of you still love Pastor? So, the calling of God to you, to me, is God saying, I want you to be like me. God, but I'm okay. Yes, you are okay. But that is the glory of the terrestrial. There is the glory of the celestial. Then even among the celestial, there are levels of glory. I am God. There is the glory that God has. I want you to be like me, to share in my glory. And God is saying, do you like that? And it's not all of us that have been able to say, I like that. But Paul liked it. And that determined everything he did. So he was able to boldly say, I am pressing towards the mark because I want to receive the prize for the call. The Lord said, if I do this, I'm going to become this. So I am doing this to be able to get that. So there was a drive in the life of Paul that made all the difference. Is there a drive in your life? While I'm sharing this, I'm going to share more about it, is to put a new drive in your spirit. You cannot live your life the way you have always lived it. We cannot continue to be who we have always been. Unless we just don't care. Because there is a higher life. I'm telling you. Even before we die and leave this earth, there is a higher life. There are dimensions of the spirit that many of us have not even smelt. There is something to Christianity that many of us have not tasted. We've not even smelled the process of tasting it. There's something unique about being a child of God that many of us have not experienced, because we have not engaged ourselves in that effort to arrive onto it. We brought Christianity to the minimal level of ordinary living. We share in the mundane things of life. We've gone to the basal level. And even those who don't know God have bigger experiences than we have. But I say higher calling that should put a hunger in our spirit. To say, Lord, I want to be that. I want that. I want it. I want to be like God. So we can test it a little bit. Even in the midst of all that Paul had on it. Remember one time Paul, had capsided from sea, and then he was so tired and was trying to heat some fire. And then the Bible said there was a viper. A viper came out of the fire. All right? Okay. I know you've not seen a viper before, but you've seen a viper in the Geographic Channel, right? You've seen a viper, right? And the viper just beat him on his hand. Bah! His mouth was there, and Bible said Paul just shook it off and continued what he was doing. He didn't speak in tongues. He didn't speak in tongues. He didn't say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. He didn't say, Jesus, Jesus. No, he didn't say Jesus. He didn't speak in tongues. He just shook it off and continued to do what he was doing. And the believers were with him, and the unbelievers, his enemies and his friends, they all stayed back. And all of them said, this guy, he must have offended somebody. How can a viper bite you? And they were all waiting for him to fall down and die. And the guy was there roasting whatever he was roasting. And said, can we come and eat? When they washed and washed and washed, and Paul didn't die. You know what they did? They ran away from him and went to bring sacrifices. Some brought chicken, some brought goats, some brought sheep to sacrifice to Paul. This man must be a god. And Paul was begging and said, I'm not God. I'm just a man who is tapping a little bit into the glory of God. Hey! Do you understand what I'm saying? Shake it off. Like that. That's why the Lord said, He said, these signs, somebody say signs. Signs. You know, in Mark chapter 16, right? He said, these signs shall follow or shall accompany them that believe. What does it mean to believe? Believe is not mental asset. Believe is, I'm going to do this for you if you do this. And you believe it. When you believe something, you start acting on the thing, right? It's not every person that said like Paul, I'm pressing towards the mark. They were not pressing towards anything. But the message was given to all. But Paul believed it. Come on, am I talking to somebody today? Is this the first time that you heard that there is life after death? No. Is this your first time? No. Do you believe it? When people die, do you believe that wherever they are going is real, like this place is real? Yes. No, many of us, we are saying it. Because if we really believe it, when death is knocking at your door, you won't be crying. Did you hear Paul crying when death was coming? Are you here today? Yes, sir. Did you hear Paul cry? Check all the men. Check Peter. Check all the men. Okay, you said Peter was old. Okay, Paul was old. Okay. Okay, what of Stephen? Was Stephen old? When they were stoning him to death, did you see him cry? Were stoning him, and he was there. I was saying he looked at heaven. Bible said when they were stoning him, Bible said his check your his eyes, his face changed. His face changed. This Bible said his face was like the face of an angel. That's the glory. His face changed. They were stoning him, and the people that were killing him saw his face. His face was like the face of an angel. And they saw heaven. And they saw their Father. And saw Jesus. And said to them, Lord, you see these people? They know nothing. They know nothing. Please don't count what they are doing against me. Because the real truth is, if they knew that, they were giving me promotion. Oh, hallelujah! No, don't count it against them. If it is you and I today, God will punish you. You are trying to kill me for nothing. Oh, your generation will die. Yeah. That's the difference. You don't believe. And he went into glory. And it was after Stephen died, revival covered the whole place. Am I talking to somebody today? Check Peter. Peter said, oh my God. Paul said, I'm ready to be offered. The time for my departure has come. Then Peter got up. Peter said to him, he called him, he said, look, the Lord appeared to me. And the Lord just told me that the time for me to come has come. And I'm just ready to come now. I'm ready to go. So you guys behave well here. Am I talking to somebody today? And in fact, Paul told him it was a long time ahead. He said, you see, right now I'm struggling. He said, what I really want to do at this time is that I'm really tired of here. I want to go. He said, but the Lord just pleaded with me that I should please wait a little bit for your sake. I have agreed to stay a little bit for your sake. But if you really ask me, I want to go. Do you think a man who talks like that is talking about a place that didn't exist? I think we have to reshape our mentality about life. It will change how we walk with God. So let me round up by saying this to you. God has called you and I to another life. A life that is more than what we have now. There is glory where we are right now. There is some level of glory of being born again. Good. But if that is all you desire, that's fine. But the Lord is saying there is something else. It's bigger than you. It's in my realm of God. And I want you to come there. I want you to be like me. And I mean it.